It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Let's move on to Jonathan's question. He says, I don't have any desire to own a traditional home. What do the money guys think about someone buying a multifamily property as their first home purchase? Because a lot of the time we hear that used as like a real estate investment, like business idea. What do you guys think of this?
What's interesting is home ownership used to be the American dream, right? Like it was like, oh, I gotta get married, I gotta have kids, I gotta have exactly 2.5 kids, I gotta get the fluffy dog, I gotta have the white picket fence, and I gotta do all this on this timeline. That's not really practically the way that life works. And certainly in today's America, it looks a little bit differently than that. So he's saying, hey, I have no desire to own a home. Is it okay if the first real estate that I own isn't necessarily a primary residence? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
I love house hacking.
Yep.
I mean, I got to tell you, if you live in a community that has duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, it's just they're not everywhere. I think the places that do have it, you assume everywhere has it. No, that's not the case. And then sometimes they're not in the greatest of neighborhoods from zoning. So if you are more traditional in the fact that you have kids and you're worried about school zones, that stuff comes into play. But Jonathan, I have no problem. Go buy you. I mean, we have some clients, so that's how they built up, because it's so cool when you get to use other people's money. And if you're living in like whether we talk about duplex or quadplex, if you're living on property, now look, it's going to be a pain in the rear end when they clog up their commode because they just walk right down, knock on your door. But that's actually a positive in the fact that you get to keep.
Gift.
Well, but you know what I mean. There will be something that goes wrong, and it's easy for them to get to you, which is actually a positive too, because you can fix this ASAP. But I think it's great. I mean, so no problems with that. And banks love it because they require less down payment. They give you a better interest rate because they look at it as an owner-occupied piece of property. It works on commercial property that way. It works for residential property. Now, here's something I have to warn you of. And what's funny is that so many of these TikTok videos we've reacted to, people just straight up lie. They'll say that, hey, I'm going to go tell the banker you're going to live there, but then go rent out all 4 units.
Yeah, that's illegal.
It's work because people say, well, they don't know your intent. Well, our commercial banker, he says, hey, I watched some of y'all's videos. He goes, that video y'all reacted to, he says, people are obviously not reading their contract with the bank on those loans, because he goes, that's a callable action. If we find out that you essentially fibbed, I don't care if you say your intent changed, we have the right to go ahead and make that loan callable and due immediately, just because the underwriting process probably wasn't completely sincere. Be mindful of that stuff, because all these people basically go out there and say fib or twist the truth. Just like I tell you, don't lie to the IRS, because I've sat through IRS audits and they'll make grown people cry right there on the spot. Be honest to the people that are giving you money too, because it's much better if you're on stable ground with what you're doing than to do all this gray zone stuff for just the chance that you get lucky and it creates wealth. I'd much rather you do it the right way, so that you don't lose sleep. Remember, part of financial independence is so you sleep better at night. Don't do such shady transactions that you're losing sleep because you're worried that something's coming up behind you at any point in time. Be on stable ground so you truly get that peace of mind.
And then the last thing I throw on there is when it comes to real estate and you making the decision, remember, you have to answer the why question. What is the purpose behind you doing this? We know a number of successful individuals that don't own a home. They choose to rent on purpose. They choose to have fluid living circumstances on purpose. There's nothing wrong with that. Money is nothing more than a tool to allow you to do the things in this life that you want to do. If homeownership is not that thing for you, if being nailed down to one place is not that thing for you, you don't have to do it. So make sure you're answering, hey, is this something that I actually want to do? Or am I just doing it because I think that I can, or I think it's an opportunity I should pursue?